Hi everyone, and welcome back to my studio and my channel. I'm Angie, a mixed media textile artist, and today I want to show you my overhead filming setup. If you've watched any of the other tutorials on my channel, you'll probably notice that I like shooting from that top-down bird's eye view. The reason I do that is I want you to be able to see exactly everything that I'm doing with my hands or whatever it is, and I think that's the best view for that. My tutorial videos aren't about me per se, so I don't want you to be looking at me when I'm trying to demonstrate something. I want you to be looking at what I'm doing. Now in the past, I've tried several different setups. Some were DIY, some I did purchase a few products, but there was always some issues with them that I really wasn't happy with. So I took the time to did a little bit more research, and I spent a few more dollars, but I'm really happy with the setup that I have right now. So let's go on over and I will show you what I have going on. Let's start out by taking a look at the centerpiece of my studio, my 5-foot by 12-foot table. It's topped with Homosote, some rug padding and felt, and I use this table for everything. I use it for screen printing, and I can either pin or staple the fabric to the table. I also use it for pressing, cutting, and I've even taken naps on it. The only downfall of this table is that black pole, but it supports the second story, so I guess I'm stuck with it and I'll just have to live with it. At the open short end of the table, I've added a cutting mat. This end also lifts up to reveal a large light box, but I will talk about that in another video. This end of the table is also where I film my overhead videos. Now my overhead setup is not inexpensive. I have tried several DIY solutions that didn't work as well as I'd hoped. They worked okay, but they weren't great. I eventually bit the bullet and spent a few dollars and came up with something that really works very well for me now. So what I have here are 3 telescoping rods mounted to the ceiling. The one in the center holds my camera, which is a Canon Vixia 600, which is also Wi-Fi enabled. The other 2 rods hold small LED panels. I just recently started using the LED panels. Before that, I used some softbox lights, which you can see in the back on my quilting machine. And these softboxes, they worked really good, but they hung so low that I was forever hitting my head on them. I was always knocking them out of alignment, and every time I went to make a video, I had to realign them. So I splurged and got these LED panels, and I love them. So let me set things up how I have it when I'm doing an overhead video. First, I cover this end of the table with a piece of white vinyl. I chose vinyl because in some of my videos I use paints and fabric or paper would have gotten stained. With the vinyl, it's easy to clean up and I can just wipe the stains away. Then I set up a trifold panel that I've made using foam core that you get from the dollar store. Even though it doesn't show in the videos, it blocks off the rest of the table and it reflects light back onto the filming area. As I said, this is made of inexpensive foam core panels that I picked up from the dollar store. After the tablecloth is down and my foam panel is in place, I'm ready to film. I can turn on the camera and the LED lights, and the camera is low enough that I can easily reach it and flip out the screen and it automatically comes on because I keep it plugged in all the time. Once it's turned on, I establish the Wi-Fi connection and I can control it from my iPad. When I'm filming, I usually have all of the lights in the studio on. I've replaced all of the fluorescent tubes with daylight bulbs, so all of the lights in the studio are the same color temperature. One last thing is cord control. I really hate cords hanging loose all over the place. So I've wound the cords around the telescoping rods and run them behind the 2x4 that's attached to the ceiling. All of the excess cords are tied up behind the 2x4 neatly and out of sight. I have an extension cord taped to the black support pole that I can't take out, and that is plugged into another extension cord that runs down the side of the table. The nearest outlet is at the far end of the table, so I've had to come up with this arrangement to get power down to this end of the table. Another concern that I have is that the LED lights may need to be lower. The softbox lights hung a little lower, but I have the LED rods extended as far as they can go. If I need to lower them, I will have to add a 4x4 or something to the ceiling so that I can drop them down just a little bit lower. So while I had things set up, I thought I'd do a little bonus clip and show you how I set things up when I'm videoing myself. It's a really simple setup. I have a basic 2x4 folding table covered with the same white vinyl that I used on the other end for the overhead shots. I have my 2 umbrella lights, and my camera would be on the tripod. I set up in front of my design wall that has some of my artwork on it, and that way you can get to see some of my work. And I have a little stool back here that I sit on. This is a very comfortable stool and I love it. I used to stand and try to do these videos, but whenever I stand I get all military-ish like, and I was appearing to be very stiff. By sitting in this comfortable stool and having this table, I can relax just a little bit. Now the table is up on bed risers to bring it at a more comfortable height to use with the stool, and I really enjoy sitting here doing the intro and the closing on my videos. So I just wanted to give you this little extra clip. This setup takes me about maybe 15 minutes or less to set up and about 15 minutes or less to take down. I don't leave it set up all the time because it really would be in the way. So there you have it, a quick look at my overhead video setup and the setup I use when I'm filming myself. Okay, well I hope you found that helpful and informative and that you learned something that you might be able to use in your studio for your filming setup. If you did, why don't you leave me a comment down below and let me know what you learned and what you think might be helpful for you. And if you have any other suggestions that might work for our subscribers, why don't you go ahead and leave a comment on that too. You know, we're all in this together and it's all about helping each other out so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel each time. And if you did like the video, let's give it a thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss any new videos I upload. Well, that's all for today. I hope to see you back here again soon, but until then, have a beautiful day.